And on the stretch, through Daichi Kamada, goal himself! And what a strike that has a go.
0 answers, 4 goals, and a team that crossed oceans to compete at the biggest football tournament on the planet, sent packing before their group stage is even finished. Tunisia versus Japan at the 2026 FIFA World Cup. And what unfolded inside Estadio Monterrey on this night was not a football match in the conventional sense. It was a masterclass, a controlled, surgical, and utterly ruthless dismantling of a side that simply had no response to the pace, precision, and intelligence of the Samurai Blue. And before we get into every moment of this performance, you have to understand the scale of what this occasion represented, because the setting itself carries enormous weight. Monterrey, Mexico, June 20th, 2026. The game you are watching right now is officially the 1,000th match in the entire history of the FIFA World Cup. 1,000 games, generations of football, iconic moments that have lived in memory for decades. And Japan, on this night, in this stadium, in front of this milestone, chose to produce the greatest single performance in AFC World Cup history, a 4-goal victory margin no Asian nation had ever achieved before. History was not just made here. It was stamped, sealed, and delivered in 90 minutes of total domination. Now you cannot fully appreciate what Japan achieved without understanding the state Tunisia walked in with. These are the Carthage Eagles, a team with genuine talent, a team that defended brilliantly throughout qualification. But their World Cup had already turned into a nightmare before a single minute was played at Monterrey. In their opening fixture, Sweden put 5 past them, 5-1. It was a result so catastrophic, so humiliating, that Tunisia's Football Federation took a decision no World Cup nation had ever taken before. They fired their manager after just 1 match day. Sabri Lamouchi was shown the door. And into his place, with barely 3 days to prepare a squad for a World Cup knockout or go-home fixture, they brought Hervé Renard, a legendary figure, a man who lifted the Africa Cup of Nations with 2 different nations. But 3 days is 3 days. And no amount of coaching genius can rebuild a shattered team in 72 hours. Japan, on the other side of this equation, were operating at a completely different level. Hajime Moriyasu had drilled his squad into a relentless, technically brilliant unit. High-tempo pressing, rapid combination play, intelligent movement across every line of the pitch. They had already proven in their opener, a 2-2 draw against the Netherlands, that they belonged in elite company. Coming into this game, they needed 3 points. And from the opening whistle, every single thing they did pointed to one outcome. 4 minutes into the match, the ball is already in Tunisia's net, and the man who started it all is Keito Nakamura, a player who is quietly becoming the most dangerous creator in this entire tournament. He picks up the ball, drives at pace down the left side, beats his man, gets to the byline, and delivers a low, precise cross across the face of goal. Daichi Kamada reads the run perfectly, arriving at the near post and guides it home with 1 touch, 1-0 in the 1,000th World Cup game. And with that goal, Kamada sets a record, the fastest goal ever scored by a Japanese player in FIFA World Cup history, bettering the previous mark of 6 minutes set by Shinji Kagawa against Colombia at Russia 2018. 4 minutes, that is all Japan needed. And once that goal went in, the match had only one direction it was heading. Tunisia were rattled, disorganized, unable to string passes together under Japan's suffocating press. Every time a blue and white shirt received the ball, the red of Japan surrounded them immediately. Goalkeeper Dahmen kept his team in it with an outstanding close-range save. He literally clawed a shot off the goal line with Japan's attackers screaming for a second goal. But Dahmen could not hold back the tide alone. He never had a chance. 31 minutes, Ayase Ueda. If you do not know this name yet, write it down. Japan's striker had been a menace all game. Physical, intelligent, always in the right pocket of space. And here, on the edge of the area, he receives, sets himself, and drives a low shot that squeezes through the legs of a Tunisian defender and past Dahmen's outstretched hand into the bottom corner. 2-0. Tunisia's defense hesitated for one fraction of a second, and Ueda buried them for it. That is the difference between these two teams in a single image. Japan execute, Tunisia hesitate. Halftime, 2-0, and the numbers behind this scoreline tell an even more damaging story. Tunisia had created 2 shots across the entire first half. Their expected goals figure 0.05, effectively 0. Japan had registered 11 attempts, 5 on target, an XG of over 2. This was not a contest between 2 evenly matched sides. This was a lesson being taught by a team that had prepared for every detail, tactically, physically, psychologically, and a team that arrived already half broken. Renard reorganized at the interval. He tried to inject urgency, but the truth was already written on the pitch. 69 minutes, Japan make it 3, and this one is a piece of pure footballing intelligence. Ueda drops deep, collects the ball, and with his back to goal executes a flick so perfectly timed, it splits the entire Tunisian defensive block in an instant. Junya Ito is already running, already anticipating, and he bursts into the channel, takes the ball in stride, and finishes composedly past Dahmen with a low rolling shot into the far corner. 3-0, Ito, Ueda, and the Japanese bench all celebrating together because they know. Group F is now theirs to control. 83 minutes, Ueda again. A delivery from the right by Sano, curling into the box, finds the striker completely alone inside the 6-yard area, a ghost in the danger zone. And with the kind of instinct you are born with rather than trained into, he attacks the ball, gets his head on it, and loops it beautifully past Dahmen into the bottom right corner. 4-0, his brace is complete, his night is historic. Ueda finishes this game with 2 goals and 1 assist, making him only the 3rd Japanese player ever to score and assist in the same World Cup match, joining Keisuke Honda and Takashi Inui in that exclusive company. Full time, Tunisia 0, Japan 4. And just like that, the Carthage Eagles World Cup is over. 9 goals conceded in 2 games, 1 scored. A defense that was one of the tightest in African qualification shipped 4 to an Asian side without even creating a meaningful chance in return. For Renard, it is a painful start. For Lamucci's legacy, it is a complicated epilogue. And for the Tunisian players, the bus ride home from Monterrey will be a long, heavy silence. But this night belongs entirely to Japan, to Moriyasu, to Nakamura, the architect, to Kamada, the record breaker, to Ito, the finisher, and above all, to Ayase Ueda, who announced himself to the world on the biggest possible stage. Japan move level with the Netherlands at the summit of Group F on 4 points. The knockout rounds are within touching distance. And every nation still in this tournament has just been served a warning. The Samurai Blue do not come to World Cups to participate. They come to win. Tonight proved it. 1,000 World Cup matches into history, and Japan have just written one of the finest chapters of all time.